We're live.
All right. What's up, everybody? Other Life Podcast back in action for the weekly live session. Thanks for coming out, everyone. We got my buddy Barrett here in the house. Barrett from the Contain podcast, who you might remember from previous shows. He's in our little Austin crew here. And today we have a very interesting agenda of content. We have some serious stuff to talk about. Then we have some funny things to talk about. Ben has brought a video for us to react to, so we'll get to that. I think it's an example of extraordinary internet Satanism. Satanism, by the way, is now going mainstream, folks. I've been talking a lot in recent months about how the internet is satanic, but now we're increasingly seeing explicit, literal Satanism is now trendy. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And, you know, I think the first thing we're going to start off talking about is...
I have some minor objections to that statement.
All right.
But we'll
get to it.
We'll get to it.
I want to hear it all.
Okay.
That's cool. No problem. I think we're going to start today by talking about some topics we've been discussing in our own personal lives related to internet and publicity and some of the poisoning effects of being too public and some of the perhaps underrated benefits of going a bit underground. I've been thinking a lot about, you know, all the various operations I've been doing, and I'm starting to feel physically sick with my concern over metrics and, you know, public sentiment and the responses I get to things. It can really be, you know, I think quite toxic for the soul. And I really do mean it quite literally when I feel that the internet is increasingly satanic. Just being too public on the internet can corrupt the soul in many ways and give you very distracting motivations that are truly in the long run quite unwholesome. And so, yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot. And my buddy Barrett here has a much more private MO. He's much more underground. The Contain podcast is, you know, he doesn't do a ton of public stuff. It's behind the Patreon paywall, and most of
a lot of it is a lot of it's behind the paywall, but you can access it on Spotify or Apple.
That's right. You can subscribe to the podcast publicly for sure. But I would say the focus of your creative work is mostly a kind of private underground kind of vibe. Is that fair to say?
I wouldn't say it's like explicitly private. It's hard, you know, it's so hard to say because
you've said to me that you feel like some of the best stuff you've ever done is when it's kind of with a private mentality. You're not really trying to share with the world, but it's for, you know, the people in your world in a more private way. Or what am I misunderstanding?
I think that's partially true because I don't think you want to get too, you know, you don't want to get too Plato's caved out with it. You just want to sort of, you want to do things. I think for me, the best way to describe it is, you don't want the distractions and the noise that surround the things. Like, you want to do what you do, but limit the sort of your engagement to the like outside discursive elements that go along with it. So instead of it being like thinking of it as like a private, as for a certain group or person or something like that, I don't really think of it that way. I think of it as like, how are these networks private? How are they cultivating like actual, like intensely focused, you know, or deeply unfocused ways of just kind of like looking at certain things, you know, like how do you create your own like little world? And people talk about, well, there's echo chambers and we have to break these echo chambers. But I'm actually increasingly of the opinion that echo chambers aren't what's bad. What's bad is the extraneous discursive noise that informs echo chambers.
Definitely. I'm increasingly of the view that what you actually want is a radicalized echo chamber where it's you have your people, high quality interlocutors that you interact with, and you have deep, meaningful relationships with them over time in a private sphere. And then you just try to grow the intensity of that sphere. Yeah. To me, that's increasingly where the future is at. And this is why I'm increasingly interested in Urbit. I've been writing about Urbit a bit more. And as people know, I've been having some Urbit people on the podcast. And to me, that's the kind of radical wager of Urbit, is that the future may be composed of these kind of strictly defined autonomous groups. And honestly, it really speaks to my soul at this moment. I'm kind of really thinking about doing something kind of radical with my various operations, folks. And so for people out there listening, I haven't decided exactly what to do, but I do want to kind of give you a bit of a warning, or just, you know, some update that I think sometime in the not too distant future, in the next month or two, maybe, I'm going to do some kind of significant rearranging of my systems and my priorities, where I'm just going to basically kind of withdraw from certain public facing things. Like I'm going to keep publishing to YouTube and I'm going to keep publishing to the podcast and I'm going to keep writing. I really want to do more. I want to organize everything around my own private writing and I'll publish that to the blog and the newsletter, but I don't want to be like available on public platforms. I might like turn DMs off on everything and maybe even go private on Twitter or something like that. And I'm going to focus on just writing and talking with people in my own private work, like indiethinkers.org probably, or Urbit. I'm thinking about maybe starting to actually like work on Urbit and be active on Urbit and build relationships and a network on Urbit because there's a lot of cool people on there. So Barry, you're kind of interested in Urbit too, right?
Yeah, I'm really interested in Urbit. That's something that I definitely see a future in. Just maybe not particularly the way that platforms are arranged, but like you said, these more sort of like private, sort of, I guess you could say, narrative-driven groups. I think people need. I mean, it's basically like, look, New York Times has basically already said that deductive reason no longer applies to the way that they approach fact-based journalism, like, which is completely insane. So I just don't understand why at that case, it's like, well, this is the power that's out there. Why should you somehow think that they can do that, but you can't?
That's right. Like in some ways, the prestige circles are their own little like Urbit group that have like detached from reality.
Yeah.
And they have their own little cocoon. And so it's like fair play to them. You know, maybe that is how things are going, but that means we have to make our own cocoons and go all in on the cocoon. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I feel like of all the fundamental projects out there, the engineering projects out there that are really wagering on this future, Urbit is kind of more radically far ahead on this vision of the future than any other networking paradigm. So I'm kind of into it. I'm thinking I'm actually talking with them about maybe like, developing some kind of more formal relationship where I really do maybe even all of my writing on Urbit. I might even consider something like that. By the way, we got Ben in the house here. Say what's up, Ben.
Yo, what's up? How you doing?
Remember, folks out there watching the live stream, any super chats go directly to Ben's pocket so he can get his tendies. And you know, he's got a girlfriend now, so he's got to buy her tendies.
Yeah.
So
we're pescatarians. We only get fish sticks.
Oh yeah, Justin. I keep forgetting. Well, okay, when I say tendies, let's just understand that means fish tenders.
Okay, great.
Right. So yeah, any super chats you want to hit me and Barrett with, we will answer whatever you got, as long as you throw Ben some money so he can take his girlfriend out on nice fish stick dinners. And so there you go. All super chats go to starving intern Ben. Hopefully soon he won't be starving. So what else is new with you, Barrett? What's going on? You're doing like streetwear and shit. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've got I've been trying to design some clothes. And I'm working out these videos. I'm finding these sort of like pre-made videos from the 90s and editing them up and creating these like weird new kind of I don't know. It's weird. It's like, I'm working with some artists on some clothes. I think Internet 2.0, these kind of public discursive spaces that drain us of our energy, our faculties, and our mental RAM they're just fucking over. I mean, a good example of this is on my last podcast, which was called The Retardery Show. It was about all the most retarded things, good and bad. There's this one, there's like this whole idea that, you can be analog from the internet, which isn't true. It's about creating alternatives to these these kind of like entropy sucking forces that, really, I think they're so fundamentally bad for people. And I think they make people really cruel and mean. And I think that that things are getting increasingly more. There's more ankle biters out there. There's more people who are, they're just ragging on certain individuals to gain any sort of attention.
You know what I think is happening is that all the smartest and most creative people are hiding out in private forums.
Yeah.
So the only people that are left on the public internet who are actually active, like talking in conversations on the public internet, are increasingly kind of deranged, psychotic people who, not all of them, of course. Like I still talk in DMs and I reply to comments and stuff like that. So I'm still one of the people in the public universe. But I think increasingly all the smart, cool people are evacuating it intelligently. Yeah. And so I think over time, you're going to see in the next several months, maybe over the next couple of years even, that it's going to be, the public web is going to become more and more of a cesspool.
Yeah. Well, I definitely, but then you have these new public spaces that can form because all these people have been locked down for so long. all of the rules on fashion and trends and events and basically culture in general, there's all this opportunity to somehow rewrite those.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And there's actually like new forces of equitable power that can be used to do this, you know. And I think when you look at people who are like not, you know, trading in fiat currency, they're like giving you stars and shit, and things that are universes and planets.
Let's talk about Urbit if you're not.
Yeah, I'm talking about Urbit. It's like, yeah, so I don't have like $6,000 to give you, but I can give you a star that's worth that much.
Yeah.
I think that there's all this new opportunity to have your own sort of like crypto culture.
Hell yeah.
And it's like a cryptographic culture, and it doesn't have to be rooted in crypto. It can be, you know, it could be anything, but I do think that there's this thing where people have been locked down for so long, you can sort of just like do crazy things and see what sticks. And, you know, that's why I'm like gonna make clothes, and we're gonna throw parties and do weird shit, or just move to Texas. Like, don't, you know, you don't have to be in New York or LA anymore.
Totally. Yeah. There is this really exciting opportunity, I feel like, with the pandemic starting to lift, where you're right. People's coordinates are so out of whack because society has basically been on pause for a year. So now there's this extraordinary opportunity to basically create your own narratives. Like the entire future narrative of American society is kind of up for grabs right now.
Yeah.
Because no one has a shared sense of what they're doing, or a shared sense of story about like what the next 5 years will bring, what the next 10 years will bring culturally and socially. So if you can step up to the plate and articulate and embody a vision of like what post, you know, COVID society is or should be, it's kind of up for the grabs. It's like that narrative is going to go to the most active first mover who's able to instantiate that reality aggressively. And so I completely see what you're saying, and I like that. Yeah, by the way, actually, Barry, you reminded me, we are going to be doing parties in Austin. So we don't have anything planned yet explicitly, but what I can say is if you want to get on the list for the things we're going to do, the best thing I can recommend is to text me. And I made a phone number specifically for people on the internet to stay in touch with me for when we have parties and stuff like this. So the number is 303-529-2047. That literally goes to my text messages, and I will text you back. I'll reply personally. And I'm going to use this list for when we start doing events and stuff. So definitely if you're in the Austin area, or you're anywhere within driving distance and you'd want to come for like a weekend or a party or something like that, definitely text me so I have you on the list. Because when we do stuff, I'll let that list know. And yeah, so we're going to be having like kind of underground things, but I'll be using this tool. I'll be using this like text list as a way of kind of sending the word out in a way that's like fluid. So also you can just text me with anything you want. If you want to text like reaction video content or whatever, we're always taking suggestions on that. Yeah. So when do you think we could do our first party? Do you think we could pull it off like as soon as April, or because after April, it's going to get hot as balls. So I feel like it's got to be either April or like, you know, September or something, or October or something maybe, because the summer, I think it's so nasty.
No, it's fine.
You think we could do summer events?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of nervous about the heat.
You just need to do them near a waterfall.
True. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm kind of nervous about the heat. I don't like heat myself.
Yeah.
I've heard they have monstrous mosquitoes. So we'll see.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So what else? What else? Any interesting stories from around Austin in your world?
Nope. Not much. I mean, you know, it's just been same old thing every day, you know, kind of stuff, which is good, you know. It's just trying to, I've been hanging out with people, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I've been hanging out, being unproductive, you know, just hang, you know, just basic shit.
Right on. Right on.
Nothing too, you know, mystifying.
Yeah, I'm feeling very kind of far from God lately. I've been reflecting on it because it's, you know, it's Easter weekend. Yeah. Yesterday was Good Friday, and I've also been reading a lot of Rene Girard because we're doing this course on Girard that's starting in the middle of June. And shout out to girardcourse.co if you want to get the study guide and do some reading on Girard yourself. You can read what I've been reading, and yeah, it's making me realize he's super based. First of all, big shout out to him. And also like more Christian than people, like a lot of people know he's kind of a Christian oriented writer and thinker. But one of the things you realize when you read Girard is it's not just kind of Christian, it's like super Christian. It's like if you think Girard is cool, you kind of are a Christian. And one of the things you get from reading him that I really like is an awareness of how like evil pretty much everything is that we do. Like almost all desire is mimetic. And when you actually look at it, when you actually do an inventory of like the things that you feel motivated by on a daily basis, like most of it is mimetic and therefore ultimately satanic. And yeah, it's just got me thinking. It's got me thinking a lot about how like my daily life, when I log on to like these different public websites, check Twitter, check YouTube, check my Patreon analytics. And it's like a lot of that mindset is essentially a mimetic mindset where I'm like comparing myself to others and seeing how I'm performing relative to others. And to me, I just like, I get roped into that pretty quickly. And I do think it's essentially satanic. I feel like you're kind of unique in that you genuinely kind of don't care about that stuff. That's one of the things I like about you. Like you can't even pretend to really care about it.
No, I never check what anybody else's numbers are, what they're doing. I don't really think about it. It's it's like almost wholly unimportant to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. It's just I just don't see it. I mean, we're all going to the, we'll all end up in the same, predicament towards the end anyway. So what difference does it make? I don't. It's kind of weird. I have a very non-competitive attitude.
Yeah. And that's the absolutely correct attitude to have. And I want to cultivate that a little bit more. So like something interesting is that we've been, the YouTube channel, Ben, has been, the views are up big time and people really like these streams, but subscriber growth is down. And I'm just like, I'm at the point where like, I don't give a shit anymore. I just don't care. I really don't care. Like, cause there's too many metrics to pay attention to. And I used to nerd out about that kind of stuff. And like, oh, I'm trying to build this like growing system that's like super rationalized. I think I'm just over it. This is kind of the paradigm shift I'm going through, where like my attitude is like, I want to have a few close friends I hang out with in real life who I love and who I just am honest and creative and supportive with. And I want to do the most thoughtful reading and writing that I can. And then I'm going to put out, a podcast a week, a blog post a week. And honestly, I'm just going to try to be more like you and just like completely forget about who's paying attention to what, whether there's growth or not, and just focus on quality content. Yes. Like to me, that is the order of the day. And it's increasingly hard. Like you're blessed with a pure soul that just genuinely doesn't care about it. But I think for a lot of people, it's just impossible to extricate yourself from this. And to me, this is like why I'm so interested in Urbit, because like any system that is all about creating this like radically calm, detached, alternative type of internet, I'm just like, I want that. I believe in it. I believe in it from a normative perspective, but also from a positive perspective of like, that is actually just that's a better internet. And hell, I want to contribute to that. It's my take.
Oh, cool.
Got a super chat there. What is it?
Perfect timing. So this is from Guy Cowman Sharp. A holy and blessed.
Screen.
Okay, $5 or €5. Is that a euro?
Yeah, it's a pound. A pound.
Thanks.
British
Pound. Sorry.
Sterling.
Yeah, that shows my ignorance.
Oh, Nina Power said something.
Oh, she did.
Well, go ahead and read it.
Nina Power?
Don't be okay. Just
sorry.
read the.
Okay, sorry. All right, super chat. Sorry. Holy and blessed Easter Saturday to you, Justin and team. Thanks for all you do and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Guy Cowman Sharp.
Yeah.
What did Nina say? What's up, Nina?
Boys, you are both so beautiful. Look after yourself.
Aww.
Very true. Very true.
Oh, Nina's the best. Thank you,
Yeah,
Nina. Very sweet. Shout out to you, Nina.
Yeah.
God bless you. Happy Easter.
Yes.
All right.
Great.
So what do you think? Let's talk a little bit about a recent example of explicit internet Satanism. Although I think Barrett has a contrarian take here. Ben, what's the quick summary? Give us like the quick TLDR. Summary. All right.
So
Lil Nas X story.
I mean, I am not familiar at all with this. I assume rapper, is he?
Yeah, he's a rapper.
Yeah.
Wasn't familiar at all until seeing these Nike shoes, I guess, that he created with like human blood, and it's somehow like modeling a satanic aesthetic, and that's been like all over the news.
It coincides with a video he did that's basically like this very homoerotic, I'd say almost quasi-biblical video. And I have again, my take on it is a little bit different than other people's because the satanic panic stuff has been going on forever. It's nothing new. I mean, Kiss used their own blood when they printed their comic books back in 1977. Like there's nothing, I think it goes along with this like narrative that in many ways, if you watch the video, he's actually sort of reifying biblical iconography in a time where, in my opinion, the most satanic shit is the kind of muted, non-binary, non-extravagant, cashmere sweater wearing like bug people shit with the fucking that want to put a mask on everything.
Yeah.
And so to me, I almost see this as like different. Just what is Satan, but the conflation of like multiple things. The outward sort of descriptor of Satanism, I don't think is inherently satanic, which is why a lot of people actually scribe black metal, which is very satanic, is also very theological in a lot of ways. That's been so people can't escape that matrix because they keep reifying it.
In other words, a public culture that acts as if Satan does not exist is truly the most satanic.
The most satanic thing.
So in a paradoxical way, to represent
I've
Satan.
actually said on my private account that I thought he was based in Lindy.
Okay.
And a lot of people disagreed with me, but I would say that if you're not looking at these, if you're not studying these things or excavating them in any way, I mean, I thought it was and Bernard Stiegler has a really great quote. He said, I think something, the most evil thing you can do is to not allow people to speak about evil itself or something like that. I don't remember. I got the words totally wrong.
Right.
But it was basically along those lines of like, if you can't examine evil and you can't talk about it, which is basically what like these neoliberal people do. So, and I'd say like, because they're not engaging in this imagery at all. They pretend like they're not doing anything, which is why they'll freely bomb kids in another country. It's like there's something deeply satanic about a country that is starting wars all over the place and nobody seems to know or care. It's like, fuck, maybe you should start a draft. Maybe people should be in touch with the reality of what's going on. To me, that is infinitely more satanic.
I hear that. It's an interesting point. It totally makes some sense. I mean, I do, and I like it. I do think also, I don't want to sound like a kind of, grandpa or something like that, but I do think also, right, that there is, it is kind of glorifying Satanism. No, you don't think?
Well, he does snap his neck at the end.
He snaps Satan's neck?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Satan, after he twerks on him and does all this like stuff to him, he then goes up behind him and he snaps his neck.
Interesting.
And kills Satan and then puts on his little headpiece or something instead.
Interesting. So is that anti-satanic, or is that assuming the position of Satan?
We don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. There's no way to really speculate on that. But I definitely think that little added detail,
it's interesting,
kind of changes things a little bit.
Right.
For me.
Right on.
I think it's a little more cryptic than people are suggesting.
I'm inclined to nonetheless see this kind of ambiguous playing with good and evil. I mean, I appreciate your argument. You make a good case for it. I think I'm more skeptical. I think that it's perhaps not as bad as it seems, but it's all within the pattern of this kind of postmodern culture where there's no one really wants to stand strongly on the side of good against evil. That's seen as like an outdated, low status kind of viewpoint, that there's good and there's evil, and to represent the good seriously and to, reject evil and Satan clearly and straightforwardly.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's more the attitude that I believe in and that I'm interested in. And I do think that we are kind of swimming in this postmodern kind of entertainment culture where everyone acts as if, you can play with symbols of good, symbols of evil, and it doesn't really matter. It's all just kind of interesting and creative, and that ambiguity is like high status. That's kind of how I see it.
But I almost completely disagree with you, because I think the ambiguity is sort of embedded in the way these people, as I like to call them, the normie neoliberal bug, basic bitch kind of like libtards, whatever you want to call them. I think the fact that they don't play with these symbols at all, that they have no poetic structure to their being. I think the absence of like poetic nature is what makes them truly like what I don't want to say makes them, because, it's like William Blake says, it's not the people, it's the condition there. And I don't want to, demonize people at all. I don't want to demonize them. I just think they're in a condition that is so divorced from even any sort of ambiguity, because I in my opinion, I think ambiguity is where, you know, the ineffable and where all of the sort of like God-like things, they start to take shape and take hold. I think that middle ground is where things are actually at their most beautiful, and that's where the angels come in. I mean, that's what like angels can't have sex because they are sex. So that, to me, that's like the angelic poetic stuff. And so I don't have a strong opinion on Lil Nas X video. I just don't see it as like nearly as bad as people who have literally no symbols, and they're completely secularized in all of they have no aesthetics. And they're conservative in all these ways because they still believe in these tropes of evil versus good. That's why they all love Marvel movies and fucking the Avengers and all this like super fucking just gay shit. Sorry to
no, I hear that. No, I definitely see what you're saying, that a kind of generic normie bourgeois bugman perspective on good versus evil can be its own kind of supreme evil. That's the real enemy. Totally see what you're saying. Though a part of me still just, to me, I'm inclined to see the entire spectacle, the entire kind of entertainment complex, the mainstream large scale center of the spectacle. Pretty much everything that makes it up to that center is probably laced with Satanism. Like, not just people playing with satanic symbols. But I see the whole spectacle as satanic in its structure.
Well, this is kind of something I coined a term. People say, I mean, I don't want to give myself too much credit, but I call this transcendental cringe, where like when you play with some symbols and you make them so overt and over the top that they rip through the fabric of the spectacle themselves and reveal they excavate some kind of truth procedure. Now, with Lil Nas X, when you show these symbols, then you invoke the reality of what it is. It's very similar to Trump, you know, the way in which he's so cringe. He's almost transcendentally cringe, that he almost breaks down the faulty logic of everything that surrounds him.
Okay.
I almost put this into that category of things. So, I mean, is it satanic in and of itself? Yeah, but it's like trickster shit, you know? It's like, it's just showing you what's being animated so that people can actually take an informed approach, instead of this like micro bug fascist lockdown muted pronoun bio hell world that we're sort of like inhabiting. And this is all stuff that I think, you know, people, they take for granted. But when you see this thing, you can actually take an informed approach. So I would rather there be more of those things and less people just sort of generically with their like, you know, mask, like COVID endless nightmare logic of the cult of safety.
Definitely.
So,
no, I definitely think that's satanic as well.
Yeah.
Ben, I think you found an interesting artifact for us to respond to or react to in today's episode. Did you not?
It's very relevant. I would say, maybe this could be an example of transcendental cringe.
All right, so Ben found this video for us to react to. Barrett has not seen it yet. I only caught a glimpse of it. Ben, give it a little setup. What are we going to be looking at?
All right. We're looking at a very desperate man.
Okay. Where did you find this?
Just on the depths of the internet. Probably don't want to give too much away.
Do we know anything about who this person is?
No. Well, I guess, yeah. Okay. We have a name. Thursday Lane.
Is he like a creator? Is he a YouTuber?
I don't know.
All right,
I think people collected his clips like disparately across the internet into this
let's just
playlist.
watch it and we'll react.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah, they have the audio, right?
All right, so satanic or a transcendental
and
cringe.
the stream has the audio on the tab.
Yes.
Sweet.
Here we go, guys.
Hi. I just want to say before I go to bed, and please, I know I want to get into fart porn, but please, can someone set up a fart male white orgy for free for me? Can they invite me somewhere at least? I still want to get a fart male white porn, but please, can someone invite me to a free fart male orgy? I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Please, I'm addicted to fart male white porn. I'm addicted to a group of fart males, a white guys farting in my face. Please wear jeans and gray sweatpants. Please, I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Wait, jeans
I wish to get
and sweatpants?
somebody to invite me to a fart male white porn orgy. Please, please, can somebody invite me to a fart male white porn orgy? Please.
We might have to
I
organize
wish to
one.
be in a free fart male white porn orgy. How about that? And then can someone hire me? Please, I wish to get a free fart male white porn orgy. Can someone invite me? I know I don't have no money. I don't have a job, but please, I'm addicted to white males farting in my face. Please, please, please. I wish someone could invite me to a free fart male white orgy. Please. I wish for a group of white guys to fart in my face. I wish
Yeah, we heard it.
4 to 20 white males farting in my face. As long as y'all don't hurt me, please, please, please. You could be a trans man. And you could be a trans man, which is a pasta male, or a man with a penis, which is a sandwich male. Please, I wish someone can invite me to a free male white fart porn. Please, please, please.
White male porn.
Can I get a free fart male white orgy, please?
Fart male white orgy. Just interesting phraseology, to be honest. Did anyone catch halfway through in the middle of his pleading for fart male white orgy? Did anyone notice he also said out of nowhere, he said, will you please hire me also?
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I think he was applying for a job in the middle of all of that. I don't understand how that fits in whatsoever. But okay, interesting. So what's your take on that, Barrett?
Pretty interesting.
Satanic or holy?
Oof, people are going to hate me for this.
Yeah.
I know what you're going to say.
I kind of think it's a little bit holy.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I knew you were going to say that. So help
yeah.
us see the holiness of looking for a fart male white orgy.
Because I don't think he even knows what he wants.
It seems like he knows exactly what he wants. Which is for white men to fart on his face. I think he knows very clearly he wants white men to fart on his face, and that's all he wants.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like this induced omnicidal psychosis. It just kind of like
right.
It's almost like a displaced
desire.
It's a displaced desire, and he's actually maybe what he actually wants is the harbingers of death and the second coming of Christ.
Yes.
And I'm sort of thinking that I kind of am of this opinion that schizophrenic people, schizos, they're so close to angels and God because it's all this displaced shit. So the things that come out of their mouth are actually just like it's almost like I don't know how to describe it, but there's definitely something about schizos, and this person is clearly a fucking schizo.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I can go with this line of argument for a minute. One thing we could say is that he's not. All he wants is for men to fart on his face. It's not even sexual, really. So, to be fair, he is calling it an orgy.
Orgies, I think implies sexual. So,
yeah.
But they're clothed, right? He wanted jeans and gray sweatpants.
Yeah. Ben, you should change the screen.
So he wanted two
pairs.
pairs. Yeah. He wanted two. He wanted them to be wearing two pairs of pants.
Yeah.
At the same time while they fart in his face. That won't be a very pungent.
I think the reason he wants the man to wear jeans and sweatpants at the same time is because he wants that extra filtering technology. So the fart gets filtered between two layers of fabric, comes out better that way for him. I appreciate the guy's passion. He's clearly he really wants it. He really wants to be invited to this. I think maybe if we organize a party in Austin, we might have to have a white male fart orgy as a part of it, and we should invite this guy. Okay, I'm kidding.
Down.
I don't think. I'm not kidding about inviting this guy. We should definitely invite him.
No,
I don't know.
I'm on it.
I don't know that I could promise an orgy. But honestly, if all you want is someone to fart in your face, that's not really sinful. Would
you do it? Would you fart in his face?
I would feel uncomfortable personally because I'm married and it's clearly a kink for him. I wouldn't want to give him a sexual kink. But I'm not judging it. I think if a man gets turned on by someone else farting in his face, that's not necessarily sinful. I actually don't see any reason to object to that, frankly. It's quirked up, but hey, all the power to him. So I think we could have a party in Austin, invite this guy, and we could arrange for a group of white men to fart around him. You wouldn't.
I would not.
Why not?
That's just not my thing.
Ben, would you do it?
I would watch it. I'll watch.
I'd have
Can
to
you
ask
leave a
permission.
comment on his video, dude? and tell him-
I like how Warhol is kind of like a voyeur. You know, he died
yeah.
a virgin, but he watched plenty of orgies, and people kept trying to throw him out there, be like, this guy, because, you know, he's really ultra Catholic. So he had this thing where he would like watch all these orgies and people. I think, he did drugs, he did blow and stuff, but he would like watch all these sexual things, but he'd never partake. And all these guys would be like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what are you doing? Just like watching us. It's like, no, I can't engage with this. I can just watch it.
Right. I mean, I wonder.
I think that's pretty funny.
Totally.
So we could be like the Andy Warhol of this guy's gay white.
Nice. Ben, you were cracking up the whole time. You actually had to turn away from the mic because you were laughing so much. What's your take on it, Ben?
Oh man, it just brings me pure joy to just watch someone so passionate about.
I like his passion. I like his commitment.
it's just hilarious.
I like
him.
Like this is a guy who knows what he wants, and he was not afraid to ask for it. Like making it,
man.
He literally requested to be invited to a white male fart orgy 20 times in a row. Like that was the video.
It's just something like that series of words I've never heard in my life. I never thought like possible like that you could put those together in such like a beautiful poetic way.
Oh, that's true. You know what? Also, Barrett, to your argument that this is a kind of holy schizophrenia, he's literally praying. Look at him.
He is. Oh wow. Yeah.
And he's saying, please. He's basically praying to God that he will be granted a white male fart orgy. And it's interesting. I didn't even know this is a thing. I don't think
this is satanic.
Not at all.
I think I'm being swayed by you, Barrett. I agree. It's this is relatively innocent, and he's a quirked up hootie, and he's putting himself out there. He knows what he wants. He's asking for it. It's not particularly sinful, and all the power to him if he wants to be farted on through 2 layers of fabric. Now, I think a man is most people are going to look a little weird wearing sweatpants and jeans at the same time. It's a little strange. But I was most impressed by the request for a job offer in the middle of that. Can we try to find that again? Actually, I think it was around the middle.
I would say
play it from there, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to prove that I didn't mishear that. I think it's
around
starting in the middle. Yeah, it's funny enough to listen to again.
White porn orgy, please. Please, can somebody invite me to a fart male white porn orgy? Please. I wish to be in a free fart male white porn orgy. How about that? And then can someone hire me?
Yeah. And then can someone hire me? That's awesome. This is actually like the most clever job application ever.
It is, yeah.
What he's going to do is he's going to get all these invites to kinky parties. He's going to make a big social network and develop relationships with all these people. And some of them are going to have a job to give him. So it's like, the stupid way to look for a job is to go on like hiring boards and job boards and actually apply for jobs. That's like the cucked beta virgin. That's like the virgin way to get a job.
This is
the real alpha way to get a job is to make super quirked up content on the internet where you're really asking for something that has nothing to do with the job.
Yes.
And then by getting that, you're gonna get a job.
I like it.
This is the most based like economic labor strategy ever. This is the subversion of capital, dude. This
really is.
This is true Marxism. This is what Marxism looks like. All right. Well, shout out to Thursday Lane.
Yeah,
maybe we can get him on the show.
I will. I'm gonna make that priority.
If anyone out there listens to Thursday Lane or is a follower of Thursday Lane, please tell him we gave him a shout out. Please tell Thursday Lane that we like him and we would love to get him on the podcast. Please. All I want is for Thursday Lane to come on the Other Life podcast. And we'll have a party for him in Austin, or maybe not a party for him, but when we have a party. Thursday Lane, no kidding at all. We're not throwing shade at all. Well, you're literally invited. If you want to come to Austin, we'd love to have you on the next party. Great. And on the podcast IRL.
Oh, for sure.
Whew, that was good, man. That was a good find, Ben.
Yeah, it was.
I like it. I like it. What else? Anything else in the news? Anything else? One thing we'll talk about this at greater length later, but remember, people listening live, if you have any questions you want us to take, just throw them in a super chat and all the proceeds will go to starving intern Ben, who's handling the tech for us. Yeah, shout out to Ben. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
We couldn't do this without you. So if anyone has any, AMA, in other words, if you want to ask us some things, we're happy to take some questions with super chats. In the meantime, if nothing is coming at the moment, one thing I'll speak to is Eric Weinstein's geometric unity paper has been released. Followers of the show know I've been talking a little bit about Eric Weinstein's possible descent into madness. I've been cataloging this, and I think we're gonna need to do a whole episode on this, honestly, because I read the paper. He just dropped this paper. He's been self-aggrandizing for quite a while, and I have some takes on it. But I think honestly, it's going to deserve its own episode. But do you have any takes, Barrett, on Mr. Eric Weinstein and this whole kind of intellectual dark web phenomenon that's kind of going down the tubes? They're kind of all going mad. I think they're all a little drunk with power, and now they're becoming transcendentally cringe, or not even transcendentally, just normal cringe.
That's why I don't like
right. Transcendental cringe in your vocabulary is a good thing, basically.
It is. It's
right?
a good thing because it's like the Hyoka trickster kind of mythology stuff where or the jester or psychopomp or anything that kind of like shows you a little glimmer of truth by presenting a counterfactual to whatever the thing is, and then you get to actually make a decision which path you want to go down. But if you're not aware of the path, I already explained all this shit. I'll shut up.
No, it's good.
What do I think of these guys?
Any takes on the
I'm not
Normie?
A big fan. I don't really like this Normie intellectual dark web stuff. I'd say it's pretty milquetoast. It's talk about not really standing by anything really one way or another. It's them. It's just a whole lot of platitudes like, I stand up for stuff like the right to debate ideas. It's just like, like, what does that even fucking mean?
It all just kind of returns to this milquetoast liberalism, basically. That is, like one of the biggest problems with this phenomenon is you have these pretty smart people sometimes who are working outside of institutions, and they do have a certain amount of courage to go outside of institutions. And sometimes they say things that are, somewhat provocative, I guess. But then with their attention that they win and the influence that they win, they're really just trying to kind of take their own power in the form of the liberal mediator of society. And I think that's just kind of a cringe reterritorialization.
I do too.
It's like, if you're going to go outside of institutions and you're actually lucky enough to have some influence outside of institutions, you have to go balls to the wall against institutions. You can't try to regain for yourself an institutional perch. And a lot of these people become kind of bitter and resentful that they become like butthurt that they're not like in the New York Times. Yeah. And this is like the ultimate failure mode for this type of kind of boomer or Gen X extra institutional intellectual, is that they don't know what to do with their newfound anti-institutional freedom. And out of bitterness and resentment, all they can really think about is how they should be writing op-eds in the New York Times, but the New York Times won't let them write op-eds, so they're oppressed and victimized. Yeah, and it's like that's the most loser perspective ever.
Acknowledging that the fact that you've been denied access from these institutions, you're canceled. That's some beta shit.
You can't be butthurt about that. You have to embrace it.
You just embrace it. Don't talk about it.
Totally. That's the essence of my critique. Ben, what was there a super chat I saw? Is it nothing of substance?
No, I mean it's just giving me some money for my fish tendies.
Okay, shout out to Rob Walker.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
£3.
Yeah. So what else? Anything else? Ben, any topics? Barrett, any topics? I think my attitude is that I really like the friend group we have in Austin and the people we're hanging out with IRL. And I kind of just want to check out of the public web. I want to be like so aloof from the gossip of the day. And I want to just be like close to my homies, caring for my homies, doing fun, creative, wholesome life with my homies. And writing the best I can, publishing podcasts and videos like this, but in a way that just, my goal is to become increasingly distant from everything normal and status quo. Like I want to find my line of flight, as Deleuze would call it, and then just go as fast and hard down that line of flight as possible. So that my goal is like when I'm 50 and I'm like, still writing and making videos and podcasts, because I plan to be doing this forever. This is like this is everything to me, like figuring out the truth and expressing it. I'm all in on this as a lifestyle for life on the internet, openly and outside of institutions. When I'm 55 or 60, I hope I'm still doing this. And the stuff I'm talking about is like, should seem utterly deranged. Like people should, like, you're either in my world and you know what I'm talking about and you like it, or if you're not and you're like tuning into me when I'm 55 years old, I hope that when I'm 55 years old, the average person tunes into my shit and they're just like, what the fuck is this guy on? I want normies to have no idea what I'm even talking about, but I want my inner circle and my crew, my people, to understand what I'm talking about. And I think that's increasingly where the world is going. I think you kind of have to, with technology, you have to skate to where the puck is going, not to where it is. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where everything is going.
I agree. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think I think people need to sort of escape from these things, but it's hard because, and I got a lot of shit for being critical of this kind of like a New York newspaper thing that got, it's a bunch of privileged kids. I'm not hating on privilege or anything, and they fully embrace what they are. And I'm not hating on them as people at all. I just think there tends to be this thing that you can sort of escape talking about certain things. But if you're doing things too underground and you're trying to create too much local buzz, and you're not taking these to these larger, then you're almost sort of like denying the nature of information. So you don't want to deny that nature. You just want to block off all of the kind of extra discourse and all of the stuff that could potentially impede, like you said, the path that you're on. You don't want to be subjected to all the sort of like brain rape of other fucking people just in the public sphere telling you and influencing you on what you should and shouldn't do. So any way to kind of navigate outside of that, I think is really, I think it's a positive thing. And just don't, and it's really hard to not acknowledge that when, you're in group chats on Twitter and you're all in these public spaces, and other people that are your peers, when they're concerned with it, then you become concerned with it, because then you become concerned with what they're concerned about. And so I think that is kind of, I think that's basically it. So I think that, just moving away from these spaces, just little by little. It could be do anything as like locking one of your accounts and making it private. I know when I did that, it helped me immensely. It really helped me sort of like recenter my thoughts and start to work on things that I think actually people might really enjoy, So if you're into like fire clothes and weird fashionable art fag stuff, then, working on some of that. If you like whatever, just random conversations that's cool too. But, just it becomes increasingly more difficult to churn these things out if you have all these extraneous distractions and you're overtly concerned with these other sort of like public, these games, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry to rant.
No, that's good. I mean, one of the things I'm noticing lately is how important it is to have just like friends in real life, because a lot of one of the most perverse effects of the pandemic is that it actually makes people hang out less with their friends too. It's like people have been avoiding all other human beings. And I think cutting yourself off from IRL friends is kind of one of the most painful and vicious things that can happen in a way, because in a way, what I think happens is people become more dependent on bullshit like social media, public opinion, if they don't have IRL friends as an anchor. So I think, because if you have people that you can just hang out with and talk shit with, just kind of say what all the wacky stuff you think and feel, then you can do that for fun with people around you who you know and like. It has a way of creating a bulwark against what like random people on the internet think. So if you don't have that IRL friend group, then you become more sensitive to what like some stranger on Twitter thinks. It's like, it's impossible to not feel the effects of feedback from internet people. But it's like, sometimes these people are like 12-year-old, it's like, you don't even know. You like, think about this. You got like a DM. Think about like, you got a comment on YouTube, this video sucks. Or you got a comment on Twitter, telling you that you suck or something like that. And it's like, no matter how strong-minded you are, just seeing that is going to have some type of irreducible psychological effect. Even if you're good at kind of reducing that effect, it takes up, some amount of cognition.
It does.
And little do you know, it could literally be like a deranged 12-year-old. And you're like a full functioning adult, and you're actually letting these people into your head. I'm increasingly going through a kind of paradigm shift at the moment where I think I'm just going to be closing myself off to any type of that exposure. Nice. With one or two small exceptions, like I'm going to make like a kind of a bottleneck where it's like, if you fuck with me and you want to like, work with, like, I don't know, interact with me or like contribute to my community, like indiethinkers.org or something like that, then yeah, like here's like a process. If you're working on real shit that like fucks with my work, then yeah, sure, come into my world. I'd love to get to know you and like work with you. But short of that, like there needs to be like a really firm barrier, and that should be like a relatively selective bottleneck. And And so that's where my mind is going. That's why I'm interested in things like Urbit and indie thinkers and stuff like that, because you need stronger filters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
But then again, well, and also Ben already got his girlfriend from the internet, so we can shut down. We don't need to like keep an open membrane. You know,
Nope.
You already have a girlfriend.
Yeah,
so
I'm done.
That
It's
was
over.
that was like one of the big motivations to like have an open membrane
right.
with the world.
That's right. I got rid of Instagram because that was the only reason I had it.
Are you off Instagram?
All the way off.
Whoa,
yeah.
really?
Good.
We both are. Yeah, we both went off together.
Really?
So, yep.
Tell us about the logic behind that. What made you decide
Kind of
that?
the conversation that
Really?
spurred it. Yeah, we kind of talked about it. I was like, wow, yeah, let's put it. Yeah.
Was it like,
test.
were you observing that it's like unhealthy for you?
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Kind of, getting a little addicted there, and just,
Dude,
I needed
good for
a
you.
break.
That's based.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
So like now that you got a
Mindfulness.
girlfriend through the internet, we can close down the membrane.
Shut it
more.
down.
I kind of take some inspiration from Sam Hyde's system. I don't know if you
Yes.
fuck with his stuff, but he's got a good kind of
brilliant.
game going where he's super reclusive. Almost everything he does is behind a Gumroad paywall, and then he just posts clips to YouTube. And I think that's the extent of what he does, as far as I'm concerned. And I think he's got like a pretty thriving.
I think Gumroad
system.
and YouTube. That's all. Yes.
Yeah. So stay tuned, folks. We're gonna make some updates to the other life operations in one way or another. Yeah. All right. I think we'll kind of wrap this baby up. But if you're listening on YouTube live, please subscribe to the channel and click the little bell so you get a notification next time we go live. Thanks to Barrett for coming out. And if you want to check out Barrett's podcast, it's called Contain, and there's a link in the show notes. You can just find it at patreon.com/contain, and check him out there. And thanks for hanging out. As always, you can check out indiethinkers.org if you're working on your own independent intellectual work and you want a sophisticated, dedicated community of other people doing that. Then hit us up there. And last but not least, you can text me if you want to. I'm specifically kind of building this text list for two purposes. If you want to send us content to react to, that's always welcome. We always kind of need interesting stuff to react to. And but also just if you want to get updates on like future events that we're doing. So it's just a quick, easy way to send out updates to people on what I'm up to. Like if we do events or parties in Austin and you want to get the memo, just text me. But also just if you want to hear about, big updates on stuff that I'm doing, it's going to be the easiest way. So check that out. The number is 303-529-2047. And that goes to my text messages. So, like I said, I'm happy to chat a little bit, but just like I'm talking about, I'm planning a major kind of withdrawal from availability. So that's a way to get connected with me and get updates on parties or like things that we're doing. But I'm not, just give you a warning. I'm not going to be texting with you daily about your thoughts and feelings. Maybe once, but otherwise I'm going to be reclusive and just going to use that text list as a way to update people on stuff. All right. Well, I guess if people want to send any last questions before we wrap it up, we're not in a rush to leave. So if you want to send Ben some money for his fish sticks, we will happily respond to any questions. But it seems like the chat is kind of chill today. Ben, were there any notable comments or questions that maybe weren't super chats that you thought would be fun to talk about?
Nina was urging you to get more outdoor time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Definitely.
Yeah, I could definitely stand for some.
Nina's
looking out.
Nina's all about the outdoors. Nina's become a pagan flower child. I like it.
Terry Davis, based or blessed or both. Do you know Terry?
I must be stupid. I don't know who Terry Davis is.
Do you know Barrett? The schizo like tech guy? I guess he created.
He's the guy who created Temple OS.
Yes.
Right. I've heard about it.
That guy. Yeah.
A lot of people compare Temple OS to Urbit.
Yeah, I know it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know much about it technically, but I think Urbit is different. I think Urbit has more sophisticated pathways to actual adoption. And from what I recall, Temple OS is like truly schizo in a way that is cool.
Because he was,
It's kind of interesting as an art project, but I don't think the comparison is fair. I do think that Urbit is a more serious player, is in my perspective.
Yeah.
But I couldn't explain why. It's been a while since I looked into Temple OS, but that was my impression.
Cool. We should do a comparison video.
Yeah, could do.
I don't know.
Ben, do you have takes?
No, not at all. I love his videos. I think he's extremely entertaining to watch. I don't know anything about his project, but yeah.
Right on.
Entertaining guy.
All right. Well, not a lot of super chats today. But that's all right. Next time, maybe.
Yeah.
Ben,
because I'm going to starve.
I'll buy you some candies. Don't worry. I always make up for it. When the super chats don't come through, I'll find a way to make up for it. Ben is graduating from university in May, at which point my goal is to put him on a proper salary.
Yes.
And yeah, I might have some news actually coming up soon. I don't want to jinx anything, but I am I do have some interesting things in the works, so I'll let listeners know about that. But Ben, I think I got the way. I think I'm going to be able to give you a dignified salary, and you're not going to be well, I don't want to say it, but
say it.
No. Well, because I feel bad. You've been very
indentured servant.
You've been very good for the show. I'm so grateful for your help.
Oh, of course.
And I mean, for people listening, I do give Ben some money. It's not like he's like literally working for free, but you know, you deserve more, Ben, and I look forward to giving it to you. I'm going to find a way. Anyway, folks, thanks for listening. Contain Podcast, go check it out. Other Life Podcasts, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, that's about it. Let's shut it down.
Beautiful.
Thanks, everyone.
Let's shut it down.
Later.
God bless. Happy Easter.